So quick tip, yes, the bolts came really clean. Don't soak your bolts in vinegar because it eats the threads away. So when you put the nuts on them, the nuts are then loose. So yeah, and now I need to find all new bolts. You guys, so yeah, I had to get new bolts. Really worked out great. I went to the junkyard and my sludgy mess that I have with my my knuckle spindle is going bye-bye, because here's the old one, and I found these yesterday at the junkyard on a 2010, and they look really nice. So I was able to get the hub out real easy. I got the mounts for the bushing mounts for the lower control arm, and what was I gonna say? Yeah, so when I was out there, basically I broke a tool, and I had to go back, and there's all my bolts, and I had to go get some tools and go back, and I was actually able to tear the entire back end of the car down in 2.5 hours. So if mine looked like this one did, it would have been a much easier job, but this is going to make it look a lot nicer. I did order some rust paint that you can put over the rust, but this is a big headache there, so this will be a lot nicer. I think I paid about $55 for each of these, including a $5 core, and then for these guys I paid like $16, and they gave me like an amazing deal on all the bolts. I think I paid like around $16 for all of them, so that worked out really well. So I just wanted to lay this out and show you guys all my new parts. I think I count about 29 or 30 parts just for the back end. And that's including a couple parking brake cables I ordered, and then a replacement for the sway bar bushings, because the sway bar that I ordered is actually for an automatic as opposed to a manual. The manual, for handling reasons, they put a thinner sway bar, but the mounting's the same, just different bushings because it's like 2 millimeters thicker. So I ordered some automatic sway bar bushings, and those parking brake cables that the bolts broke off inside. I think I paid about $30 each, which was a lot better than having to drill out and tap those. So this will be fun. Okay, I'm getting the knuckles or spindles ready here, so I had to remove the ball joints. I'm working on that. So I got the clips out, and this is how you're going to set up the press to pull the ball joint cup and the cap on the bottom, and then against the back of the ball joint at the top there, you can see I've already gone part way. I just wanted you to see how it was set up, so I'll come back when I get it out. This one came out real easy, right at the end there. It just slid right out and it falls into the cup, so I just stopped before it fell into the cup, but it's basically pressed out. So kind of a big update here, but I'll go piece by piece. The rotors off the back here, pretty rusty, and when I looked at the front ones, they don't look very good, and they actually look like they're scored. So I think the brakes have gone too far on that, so I went ahead and bought some power strap brakes and rotors, like a kit. And I also went ahead and removed the stuff I need to get to the top of the struts here. You've basically got this cowl piece over here and the windshield wipers that need to come off. So on the windshield wipers, there's actually a little cap that goes over the end. Let's see if I can get this around. a little cap. I don't have enough hands. This cap goes over the end here that blocks the nut. So pry this off with a little screwdriver, and then you'll be able to loosen the nut there, which is this guy. And the arm here is going to be stuck, so you have to grab it and wiggle it pretty good to get it off the bolt. And it's kind of under spring tension. I can't really move it, but it's under like a spring tension against the window, so you have to kind of press in on this part here as you're pulling it off. And then you got a bunch of clips on this guy that they're kind of a pain, but you can get them off. Also, you do have to remove this weather stripping, at least part of it, so that you can get to the middle, but so you can unclip everything. But then I also got the bottom by the bumper. These are the guards that are down there. When I do the lower control arms, I'm actually going to have to remove the support member for the engine and trans. So I had to get these so I can get to the front bolts on that. So if you're doing that, you have to get this. There's a lot of kind of, not too difficult, but a little bit difficult clips on there. There's a lot of them, make sure you get them all. And then a couple bolts too. I think they were on the front end. I don't know which end they were on, but in any case, those two bolts on mine were really rusted. The first one snapped off. On the second one, I was able to kind of loosen it a little bit and then tighten it back up, loosen it a little bit and tighten it back up. And once I did that a little bit, I was able to unscrew it. But this is the other one, and it goes into the right up under here. So I'm gonna have to drill a hole in that, get it out of there, get another bolt. So, yay! So the reason that I was kind of jumping around there is because the tool that I ordered, it doesn't really do what I need here for the bushings. I need a cup design that will accommodate that part that's sticking out, because I can't fit on the outside of something flat. So I ordered that, but it's going to take about a week to get here, so we'll come back to this. So something I wanted to share here: when you take that cowl off, I've seen this happen before. Be very careful with this edge of the window here, because there is nothing underneath the edge there supporting it. So if you happen to lean on that or anything, you will break the windshield. So don't do that. I thought about even putting some tape on there to remind me of that, but I'll just be very careful. Okay, so I got a bunch to show you underneath here, but I just wanted to show you beforehand. These are some of the tools that I got that help out. As for the exhaust hangers, your ball joint tools, and my nice new sockets that I got here. And this is an axle nut set that is pretty awesome. I thought I'd be able to use the 30 here, but I didn't realize it's only a 6-point. So I ended up buying this axle nut set. It's 12-point. And it goes like from 29 to 39. So I think that covers pretty much anything I'll be using it on. My ball joint press. Okay, as you can see, I got the front end jacked up now. Some big old jack stands under there. One thing that I want to make sure you know is, before you lift it up, make sure you take that cap off in the center and break that axle nut free there, because you do not want to try doing that in the air. Also break the wheel lug nuts loose too, so you don't have to do that when it's up. And on the axle nut, there's actually an indentation in it where you punch it in to lock it in place. And I don't know if you can really see here or not, but in there, I was trying to punch that open, and my screwdriver actually broke off inside that groove there. So I had a bit of a hard time getting that to loosen up. But that 2-foot breaker bar and a little bit of jumping on the end, and it ended up coming loose eventually. So next underneath. Okay, so hopefully you don't have to do the parking brake cables like I am, but those bolts up in there really look kind of ugly. So I think I'm gonna have a little fun there. And I gotta take off the heat shield there because they're tucked up underneath it. So I gotta drop the exhaust, which means I have to disconnect this flange up here, which you can see isn't working so far. So I'll let you know once I get those cut off and that joint separated. And I got another joint back here to disconnect right there, and then I'll pull down the 2 different pieces. Okay, so I got the first side off, the passenger side here off. It's kind of rusty there a little bit, but nothing like the back. I did notice the rotors here, they're really scored, but the pads are really new. So I'm thinking what it is that those are ceramic pads and these are untreated rotors, and so the pads are just eating the rotor basically. So yeah, with ceramic pads you gotta get treated rotors too. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't look too bad in here. Really short CV axle here, but up here this strut really needs replacing. This rubber seat here is just completely gone. You can see it's leaking in here, and the boot completely gone. Shaft's all exposed, so dirt and stuff could get in there. And even the, well, no, that's dirt, but yeah, looks like it'll be fun. Not as bad as the back, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, so driver's side apart. Same thing here. Rotor's real worn, brakes real new. So same thing over here. You look up at the strut, that seat's all damaged, and the boot too. It's like just flopping down in here. It's kind of a mess. But basically the problem is that dirt will get on that shaft in there and then damages the seals, so then it starts leaking. But I'm gonna be changing quite a few things here. I'm gonna do the hubs and the bearings, the CV axles, the struts obviously. I'm gonna do the tie rods, the outers here, and the inners. The sway bar bushings back in there. I'm gonna replace these lower control arms and the ball joints, which is kind of an interesting attachment. It's 3 bolts to the lower control arm, and the stabilizer bar we're going to replace too, and seals in the transmission, and I'm going to change the fluid, and that's all I can think of at the moment. But if I think of anything else, I'll let you know. Oh yeah, can't forget brakes and rotors all around too. Real quick tip here, if you didn't get the axle nut loose enough all the way, I have a little trick here with mine. Because of the notched in part that I had to wrestle off, it was a bit difficult to get off, so I had to keep the wheel from turning. So over here on the caliper, we stick a screwdriver through the caliper and into the flutes of the rotor. It'll keep it from spinning. So, little tip. So I'm going to be changing the CV axles. So I wanted to break that free in there, so I just hammered on the end with a rubber mallet and a few good whacks, and it was enough. If you're going to be reusing the CV axle, be careful about hitting it on the end, because you're going to be hitting that joint into itself and you can damage it. But right now I'm going to go ahead. Oh yeah, one more thing. I marked right here where the strut meets the knuckle, because that way you can get it close to where it was at, so the alignment's not really far off. And I'm going to go ahead and pull the caliper and this bolt up here, get everything out of the way, and then go for the stabilizer link here. I'm trying to get the stabilizer bar out of the way so that I can get to those bolts back on the exhaust that I'm cutting off. It's just really in the way. So the front suspension is coming apart super easy. Definitely not like the back. When you take off the caliper, you're basically gonna remove this bolt here and this bolt here, and then slide it out, and then you'll be able to pull the pads. The pads, you kind of have to angle the top out to pull them out of there. And then for the caliper bracket, you've got this bolt here, and where the heck is he? I can't do this. Sorry guys. Right there and right back there. So yep, right there. Sorry guys. But over here on the other side, I got this set up. Basically, I took off the caliper and the caliper bracket, and when I did that, the rotor basically just fell off on me. And it's pretty rusty under there, so maybe we'll have some fun here. The rotor, I've never seen anything like this. The inside of the rotor, the flutes are, I don't know if you see that, yeah, the flutes are like actually rusted closed in some of the places. I actually banged this on the ground, so this is better than it was. But yeah, it's pretty rusted. And so after I took that off, there is a speed sensor down here. That hole there, it's just one bolt. And then up here, there is a, sorry, wrong side. There's a bolt over here that's holding the speed sensor and the brake line. So once you take that bolt out, they both kind of pop out. And try to keep those hung up as best you can. I'm not really sure where I'm going to hang this when I take the strut out, but I guess I'll have to figure something out. And then the stabilizer bar, when you take that out, I have it set up here. It's already loose, but you can try just turning it with the 17mm wrench, but it's probably going to spin the inside as well. So you have to put an Allen wrench into, or hex wrench, whatever you want to call it, put it into the center, and then hold that while you turn the wrench, and that'll loosen it up for you. It'll keep the joint steady while you loosen the nut, and then it just pops right out. And I am looking at this knuckle and this backing plate, and I know I've already spent too much money, but man, that spindle is sure looking like a junkyard part to me. When you take off the speed sensor, make sure you kind of look at this and see how it goes, because it's a little weird the way the wire goes up and then flips around. But it's just coming right from over there. So this worked out good. I got the stabilizer bar out of there, or the link, and when I did, I was able to swing the sway bar up and then wedge the link right down in there, which pulled the stabilizer bar, I don't know if you see it, but way back in there, the stabilizer bar, instead of sticking down and out to the right, it's hanging to the left all the way up against the subframe down there. So now I can get to my exhaust pipe flange down there and cut those bolts out a lot easier. Well, that was fun. You can see here I had a little bit of difficulty getting them out, but I got the pipe off now, so Now I just got to get those out. I might have to pull that pipe off too, just to get them out, but that's alright. They're out now, so I can actually get to the parking cable. Yay! So it's about 9:30, and I've been out here pretty much all day, but the exhaust is out of there. Got the whole thing down, and now I can get to those parking brake cables. I do have a couple screws I still got to battle with. Up in there on each side, and then these guys here, and I have to pull off this heat shield here, but I'll do that in the morning, and should be pretty simple, I think. I'm gonna spray these again. Okay, I got the old parking brake cables out, and I got the new ones in. And the bolts were pretty rusty, but doing the backing out until it starts to get tight, and then tightening it down, loosening it up, tightening it down, loosening it up. You're basically like breaking up the rust on the threads and then kind of clearing it as you tighten it back down. So it really works, I promise you. These here, when I got the cable into these clips, I actually kind of had to pull it pull it this way so that put this under tension over here to be able to hook those into the brackets, but they're in there, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that heat shield back on, and on to the next thing. I just noticed something here. This is that front flange from the catalytic to the front pipe, and this bolt here is coming out nice and smooth, but I just looked at this one over here, and the wrench does not fit on that thing. It is rusted away, so hopefully I can get something on that, otherwise I'm going to be cutting that off too. So I know you guys saw the bolt heads that I had to cut off, but this is the nut side here. If you look at them, it's like the metal has like melted together. It's no longer two pieces, that's for sure. And these are the two that were up by the cat on the first pipe, and the one on the right is a 14 millimeter, as it should be, but this one is so worn down that it's actually a 13 millimeter, and amazingly a 13 actually fit on there and was able to break it off, so that was fortunate, but I don't know how I'm gonna get those out of there. Okay, pinch bolts are loosened, nuts are off, and I put a jack up underneath the control arm here so that I can lower it when I take the bolts off the top up here. Now on the driver's side over here, the bolts of the tower here, this back one, you're not going to be able to get a socket on, so just use a wrench. If you put a open end wrench or a box end wrench over it, you can break it free, and then just don't back it out very far, and you can get the box end off, and then just take it off. Well, I was able to take it off by hand, but you know, if you need to, just use a open end wrench. Okay, so I started to take the strut out, but I decided against that because I need to break the tie rod loose over here, and it's a lot easier. And then I also wanted to hang the spindle from the top here, take the ball joint off, and then pull the spindle from the top down. But I did manage to get the, you can actually see it there. I did manage to get the nuts off, but as you can see, the cotter pin's still in there. Had to fight with that a while and then shear off what was left. And I also got the stabilizer bar completely out of there. That one's a little tougher because it faces the other way, so you got to get underneath and kind of reach around the control arm everywhere on both sides. So it's interesting, but I think that's it for now. I'm gonna go ahead and pop these tie rods and then start loosening up the ball joints.